Hello my friends, Chris here from Cards.n.Colors. As you can see, I'm sitting in front of my Arasoma display, the beautiful colored bottles, but that's not the point here. What I'm about to do is a walkthrough, review and close look at the Mythical Creatures Tarot by Baba Studio. I got the regular edition, the non-limited edition, including the accompanying book. And yeah, let's start. We will have a closer look later when I walk you through all the cards. But let's start with the box. It's a sturdy box with some gold gilding going on the sides and on the front. Not sure if you can see it, and yeah, it goes like this, the title card. I'm a bit confused because it's all mirrored in the selfie mode. That's a bit strange. Mythical Creatures Tarot. And why did I get the book? Because I have to say the little white book that comes with the deck is great on its own. But, well, first of all, I'm interested in mythical creatures and mythology, and I saw that there's really a chunk of information, and the book is in full color, as you can see, but there are also full color illustrations of the different creatures and beings described in this book and used in this deck. And so it's not just the cards, but it's a fully illustrated book. Quite a great book with a lot of text and background information for each of the creatures that's featured in the deck and much more. And this deck is a pip deck, so no scenic pips or minors. Just, well, a beautiful arrangement of the suit symbols like in the Marseille or in the Visconti, but very, very delicate drawings with a lot of symbolism and a lot of details. You will see that when we come to the cards themselves. And yeah, Caitlin Matthews, who also wrote the great book Tarot Untold, Tarot Untold, not sure about I've made a video about my favorite tarot books, and it's featured in this video. It's a book about historical decks and using pip decks and reading with directions and strings of cards and tableaus with no fixed positions like in a spread. So in a way, the old way of cardomancy and reading cards, and quite a fascinating subject. And yeah, Caitlin Matthews, she wrote a lot of stuff that's featured in this book here, and well, because of that, I just had to get the book, and it's really great. So, shall we dive into the cards and have a closer look at all of these beautiful, beautiful cards? Well, a second before we start. The cardstock is brilliant. This is the back of the cards. Very ornate, maybe a bit too busy, but well, it's just the back of the cards. And the cardstock is gorgeous. It's not too flimsy, but very, very flexible. And for people who like to riffle shuffle like I do, this is a dream cardstock. It's not a linen finish, but it's a very, very silky feel, very smooth and in a way buttery, but not too thick. It's just a great cardstock. And as you will see when we dive into the cards themselves, what they did here is they used cold stamping, which is a technique that utilizes metallic ink. So all of the cards and all the illustrations are highlighted with this metallic effect and the shimmering going on. I hope the light is right so that the camera really catches this effect, and this is done beautifully and very perfect, because it could go wrong. There are many examples of very, very shiny gilded decks that I don't think are really great examples, but in this case it's beautiful because it's not just gold or silver, it's different colors, and the cards don't have a shine or distracting glare at all, and just when the light is right you can see, or when you move the card you can see this metallic effect. And when you lay them out on the table, or if you want to film or photograph them, no problem at all. So to get this right, I think there was a lot of work going into this deck. And as you can see here from the illustration of the Fool, this is very, very, very intricate line drawings, and it took them quite some time to illustrate 78 cards like this with all the details. And the first edition of this deck was just the black and white line drawings, and then they decided to colorize the drawings with watercolor, which is beautiful, and then also on top of that the cold stamping with the metallic ink. So years and years of work went into this deck, and it's a pricey deck, yes, I have to say. It might be one of my most expensive decks in my collection, except for the gorgeous Il Meneghello decks, which are works of art in themselves. But this here is a work of art too, and it's worth the price. So, enough rambling, let's get into the cards. See you in a second. So, here we are back again, and as you can see, I zoomed in so you can see all the gorgeous details of this incredible deck. Here again is the title card, and then we have our first trump card, the Fool. And as you can see, again, just all the details. And here you can see the gilding or the cold stamping, the metallic effect. Isn't that just gorgeous? But when you lay the cards just flat on the table, nothing distracting, nothing too shiny or glary, just great. So what we have here, I have to have a peek at the book because this guy here was unknown to me, and it's the Amadan Dove, the dark black or fairy fool, and one of the She of Ireland. So this is quite a sinister fool who can trap you into getting lost in the fairy realm, so beware. And as you can see, also a very intricate border, and then this scroll here with the title of the card. The magician is a magus or magus, one of the priests of magic with the emblems of the art and a lemniscate hat. And then again here, very, very intricate. Can you see that? Yeah. Oh my God. Me doing ink drawings myself, all of this detail. Drawing this is, wow, amazing. The High Priestess is a beautiful sphinx with an hourglass and the Book of Knowledge or Wisdom here, guarding the gate to higher knowledge and truth. The Empress is the fairy queen, like like Queen Mab, with a little fairy boy. Quite Art Nouveau here, but beautiful. The Emperor is the Minotaur, the bull-man combination from Greek mythology. And it's interesting because in the Little White Book, as well as in the companion book, they give you special creature meanings for each of the cards. So how does the mythology and the symbology of the card influence maybe the meaning? You can use that when working with this deck. Of course, well, you don't have to. But what I found quite interesting is here, the Minotaur. Not my favorite card in the deck, I have to say, but the Minotaur is inside of a labyrinth. So when this card shows up, it could indicate, especially in this deck here, finding your path, being able to find your path in circumstances that are cloudy, or when you feel like you're in a labyrinth with so many options and you don't know where to go. Yeah, this could be a situation you're facing when this card comes up. The Hierophant is Chiron, a centaur, the archetype of the wounded healer, but also a teacher and mentor. In the Lovers, we get a mermaid, a beautiful mermaid, and it's interesting. Just look at the detail here, the water and the water lilies, and then you get this shiny tail of the mermaid. It's just lovely. And the knight here kneeling. So in most Lovers cards, it's not always just about love or relationship, but about decision making. And here in the tale of the Little Mermaid, there is of course a decision to be made, and there are two people, in a way, two creatures, two beings from different realms, different worlds even, and they have to compromise. They have to find a way how they can spend time together, and is one of them willing to let go of their past, of their natural environment, to be with the other, all of that stuff. The Chariot then is Poseidon, with mirror horses here and his trident. Gorgeous. Justice is a harpy, and it's interesting because in the book they say that today we see harpies like quite, revengeful, terrible creatures, and they weren't always. In the early times, harpies were beautiful women mixed with birds, and they came to fulfill justice and truth and whatnot. So not at all fear-evoking creatures, quite beautiful, angel-like in a way. The Hermit is a dragon with his treasure, guarding his treasure under the earth here. The intricate line work again. Stunning. Then as Wheel of Fortune, we get the three Fates, or Norns, sitting by the Tree of Life here with an owl of wisdom and spinning the thread of fate. Strength is the white cockerel, which I have to say was unknown to me. Never heard of this one, but it's a symbol of great strength and courage, and it can even defeat the lion. Hangman is a mandrake. Yes, hanging upside down, living inside of the earth. Death is the basilisk, a mix of serpent, dragon, and cock. With all the bones, a bit creepy. Temperance is the rebus or rebis in English, and this is an alchemical symbol of the union of opposites. Sun and moon, male, female, gold, silver, the chemical wedding, the perfection. Devil is a vampire. Sorry, I got lost in the illustration, I have to say. Yeah, temptation. But also, well, losing energy. The tower is the Kraken. And again, all the detail here. There's someone here and there. Wow. The star is a peaceful, serene unicorn. Not a kitschy, gladly. The moon is a werewolf. So our instinctual animal, maybe cruel nature and being lunatic, struck by the moon, hypnotized in a way, fascinated by the darker sides of life, but also the dangers. The sun is a firebird, and in Slavic mythology and folk tales, just one feather of this mythical creature is able to light a complete room. Then we get to the phoenix in the judgment card, fitting of course, rising from the ashes, being born again. And then last but not least, we have the world represented by an Ouroboros, a serpent eating its own tail, and the 4 living creatures in the corners of the card. So then we get into the minors. And as you can see here, the minors are quite, well, illustrated, but non-scenic. So no people really in the minors, just the emblem of the suits arranged beautifully. And then creatures sometimes, and greenery that is associated with the suit and the element. And as you might have noticed, just to show you once more, here's the world card, the border, and there is the border of the wand. So the borders of each card change with each suit. So for the wands, we get a more reddish suit here with a, I don't know, reptilian, dragon-like creature in the corners. And then here in the Ace of Wands, we get a drake or a dragon and little reptilian, dragon-like creatures. And I find it quite fascinating because even the greenery, we'll see in the cards to come, is very thorny, like here for example, in a way fiery. And as you are able to see, a lot of details. Quite busy, yes, but all in all, because of the color scheme, and when you lay the cards out, many cards, it's quite easy to see the fire cards, the water cards, and so on, and the mythical creatures from the charms, and the court cards, I haven't mentioned that yet, they really stand out in a reading. So 6 of Wands, and there are hints in the cards, even there are no people in this pips, there are sometimes hints. So for example here in the 6 of Wands you get one dragon on top, and 6 of Wands traditionally is, well, like the victory cards. So this dragon here is victorious and on top, and the arrangement of the wands is, well, follows the Tarot de Marseille order of emblems. I was lost again. So in the 8 of Wands, interesting, the card of swiftness and fast movement and so on. Instead of dragon or reptilian creatures, we get firebirds. here they are, firebirds. So firebirds movement in the air, 9 of Wands, and then 10 of Wands. The Page of Wands, sorry, is a salamander, the creature associated in traditional Western magic with the fire element. The Knight is a chimera, mixing different animals like a goat, a lion, serpents and whatnot, spitting fire. The Queen of Wands is a Chinese dragon, so a nice dragon in a way, a lucky dragon. And the King is a Jinn. Then we get into the cups, lovely cups, Ace of Cups with a mermaid with 2 tails. And you can see again the border has changed and now it's a teal and turquoise border, very fitting for the water element. 2 of Cups with a sea unicorn, lovely. And even here at the bottom you get a octopus tentacle and some seashells. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 3 of Cups with a fish of abundance. 4 of Cups, 1 cup is singled out in a way. 5 of Cups, forming a star. And here even the faces, these little faces. 6 of Cups with seahorses. 7 of Cups with 2 mermaids or sirens, alluring, temptation, illusion maybe. 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups, and then 10 of Cups with a couple of merfolk. A happy ending, relationship, family. So this is a Nereid, some sort of nymph, as the Page of Cups. The Knight of Cups is a sea serpent, sea dragon. Queen of Cups is Melusine, or, well, in English, I guess it's Melusine or something like that. And she has 2 fish tails, and beware, she can transform herself into a dragon. Great. And then the King of Cups is a creature from Slavic culture and mythology again, mostly found in Sweetwater. And quite interesting, I think, here with all the algae and seaweed and whatnot going on here. Reminds me a bit of the creature from the Black Lagoon, but I'm all up for good old traditional Gothic horror and Universal monsters, so this is a plus for me. Ace of Swords, again, the borders have changed. Now we have in the corners angel-like winged creatures, and in the cards birds, heads of birds, wings, and angel-like creatures, like here in the 2 of Swords. In the 3 of Swords, you get a hint at the Rider-Waite-Smith card with the heart. 4 of Swords, peace and trust, truce, not trust, truce. And here 5 of Swords, for example, defeat. And you can see here this head of a bird is picking a dragonfly, killing a dragonfly, and then here you get the skull of a bird in the center of the card. 6, 7, mischievous gaze, interesting. 8 of Swords, being trapped with all the wines going on here, and quite an unhappy look. Nine of Swords, sorrow, anxiety, nightmares, looking depressed. And then Ten of Swords, the beautiful butterfly wings have been stabbed and damaged. The Page of Swords is a sylph or fairy. The Knight of Swords is Pegasus, the flying horse. The Queen of Swords is a banshee. And the King of Swords is a griffin. And then the last suit, we have the pentacles or coins in this deck. And again, the frame of the cards changes. And now it's, well, I don't know, lion creatures and coins here and berries everywhere. And the Ace of Coins depicts two satyrs and pomegranates. We see a lot of pomegranates here. Again, pomegranates, a fairy, I guess, and a green man. Again, some sort of a green man and a fairy. Four of Pentacles. Now we get into, well, grotesque creatures. Forest spirits. Interesting. Oh yeah, and these look quite miserable in the Five of Coins, as we would expect from this card. Grumpy. Grumpy creatures. And then in the Six of Coins you get two lovely fairies here, blessing the scene. Seven of Pentacles. The Eight. Growth. Whoops. The Nine. Abundance and berries everywhere. 10 is like a family tree here. All the faces and heads. And then Page of Coins is a dwarf or gnome with jewels here and crystals. The Knight of Coins is a satire of faun, like Pan, with a flute here, and wine. Lusty goat. For the Queen of Coins we get a beautiful dryad or tree spirit being rooted and grounded, literally, but maybe unable to move. And then the King of Coins is a giant, as you can see if you compare the giant with the sheep here. And last but not least, there was a bonus card because at first Baba Studio tried to make scenic pips for this deck, and well, fittingly cups would have been merfolk and mermaids, but being so intricate and so full of detail, they decided no. First of all, it would take forever to complete this deck, so we are going with pip style miners. And secondly, as they write in the book, the mythical creatures felt a bit out of place in the miners, in the pip cards. And as mentioned before, when reading with the cards, they really stand out in the majors and the quartz. So they decided, no, we're not putting them into the miners. They're going to be pips. Because there's so much symbolism and mythology and archetypal energy going on with these mythic creatures. Let's reserve that in a way for the trumps and then the court cards, and well, keep the minors as pips. And being a fan of pips, I haven't always been a fan of pips. I started with Rider-Waite-Smith and clones too, but I have to say in the last years I started to embrace and love pip decks and Marseille decks and historical decks, so I quite like that this is a pip deck. So there you have it, a walkthrough and review and closer look at the Mythical Creatures Tarot from Baba Studio. this deck is still available. Just go to their homepage, baba-store.com, for example. And yeah, delivery was fast, and I'm very pleased with this deck. And yeah, if you'd like to comment, please feel free to do so. I like to talk with you and chat with you and share your experiences with this deck. Do you like this deck? Do you want this deck? Why don't you like this deck? Yeah, and well, this is the end, my friend. Stay well, stay healthy in these troubled times, and see you soon. Bye.